Hey guys, I'm back with another roster review. I know, two roster reviews in like a week's time, crazy, right? But I wanted to highlight this roster review because I think it's a very, very important one because this describes perfectly kind of like a mid to end game player trying to figure out what they need to do next. I think I've done a lot of like earlier game characters and I've even done some like really late game characters and rosters, but there hasn't been much mid game character progression and advice on my channel for roster reviews that I think most people watching this channel are probably at as well. So I want to share that with you guys today and see if you guys can, use this advice or just think that it's something very interesting to watch. Hopefully you guys enjoy. And as always, if you want to have a roster review, I do these all the time on my Twitch at twitch.tv/MisoxShiru. I start streaming every single night at 10 p.m. PST. And also recently on weekends, I've been doing like afternoon streams as well on like Saturdays or Sundays, usually one day of the weekend. So hopefully I'll see you guys on my stream. But if not, hopefully I'll see y'all on the next video. All right, guys, enjoy. Perfect. I guess to begin with, well, first, thanks for watching. Continue watching the channel and things like that to get the points. And second off, what do you want to do for this roster review?
I'm just looking to see where I can improve in. I mean, because like supports is kind of easy to get into raids, but like it's hard to, like for example, I think July I'm trying to get into Echidna
Mm-hmm.
on like maybe my Sork and my Bard, but it's kind of hard with my DPS because they're looking for the best of the best. Well, I don't even have LOS 30, but support
Yeah.
I could do it easily. So
Mm-hmm. So you want to basically get to Echidna and be able to do that content right now, right? Or
yeah.
when it comes out. But yeah, you have a pretty dang good roster too. It's like all 1600 plus. I think you have a honestly in terms of like I have two 1620s, but like you have way more like a well-rounded than my roster. And I think honestly your roster is probably better progressed than mine is in terms of item level.
Thank you, thank you.
But yeah, I mean, so if you want to, is your support your main or is your like your DPS your Sork your main?
Well, I'm trying to make my Sork my
Irina?
main, but it's kind of hard to get into lobbies. So for Daymine, I leveled up my Bard first to 1610 because it would be easier to get into raids, even though I don't have the the holy damage for your team, the lost win cliff. So it was
Uh-huh.
easy to find to get accepted as a Bard. But my Sork I recently upgraded because I'm trying to also get her into 1620 and do some Daymine and hopefully Echidna when released.
Got it. And how far away are you from LOS?
Um, I think three off. I have enough collect or legendary collectors, but I need three more. But I'm not too sure if I should save it for Lost One Cliff 2 or just for the holy damage, the set 30.
That's tough because your Sork is your main. So, I mean, the thing is, you should save your. At the end of the day, I think you should save your selectors for Light of Salvation, no matter what. I think that Lost Wind Cliffs is just like what you said, right? It's a lot easier to get into parties as a support. So, yeah, some people might be like, oh, you don't have Lost Wind Cliffs, but there will be plenty of other parties who just kind of like, you know, accept you regardless of it. Whereas with a DPS, if you don't have LOS 30, it's really hard, especially at like the end game raids, like Theamine, Echidna, like those raids. It might be a lot harder for you to get into those parties. So I'd just say spend those things on Light of Salvation, and then after that you can prioritize Lost Wind Cliffs if you want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So should we dive into your characters?
Yeah, of course. We'll start with my main, or I guess you could
Yeah.
say my main DPS.
Yeah, and I'm crossing my fingers for you that you'll get Light of Salvation by a Echidna release because 3 cards isn't that bad. And if they do another Makoko Express, which some people are expecting for the Echidna release, you might be able to get that card selector from that Makoko Express.
Oh, okay. I was planning on the next, let's say if they do have like a Mokoko Express, to use it on my alt roster because I have an alt
Mm-hmm.
roster full of 1540s, but I might just do it, make a support like a pally because I've been interested in playing a pally and have more gold income.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you can use the Makoko Express on both your main roster and your alt roster. It's not like it's
Oh,
server. It's by server. It's not by yeah. It's not by account.
so recently I hit 1610, and luckily with LOS 18, I was able to get into a 1 through 2 lobby. So I
Uh
did
huh.
Daemon, and I'm not too sure if I'm
Oh,
going to be
sorry. It's
able
by
to get
region. The
into.
Makoko Express by region.
Oh,
Yeah, never mind. Yeah. It's not by server. It's by region. So you have an alt roster on like the other like another server in your region, right?
yeah, it was supposed to be like a jumpstart server. Luckily, it didn't merge with
Hmm.
my main server, so I'm able to make two different gold incomes, and I trade it sometimes.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, you said you were able to get in Thamine, luckily. And again, I don't think, luckily, I don't think that the Thamine gatekeeping is that bad from what I can tell right now. And so, of course, sorry, at the end of the day, and Runya did mention that you don't need light establishment 30 for Echidna either, but again, it's always just about gatekeeping, right? If you have an
Yeah,
LOS 30, it's gonna be a little bit easier for you to get into parties.
yeah. So here is my card packs I have here.
Uh
I'm
huh.
like short, like I think three, like I said, three or four.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to do some Abyss dungeons, and hopefully I get those cards.
Yeah. What cards are you missing?
Thyrane, Ninevine, and Shandi.
Well, luckily, those are all cards that you can get from your raids and your abyssal dungeons and stuff like that. It's not like your Kadon trap. That's the worst. But yeah, luckily those are all that you can, all of you can get. And I'm assuming you did get your free Nineveh card from the report, right?
I believe so. Let me just double
Yeah, if I
check.
remember correctly, Nineveh report gives you a card.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's just continue doing what you're doing. Do Abyss dungeon runs, do challenge Abyss, and if you want, like, do as many raids as possible too, because all the raids have chances to get cards. Like whether it's Vaulton, whether it's Clown, whether it's Vicus, whatever, all of them, they do give you chances to get the cards. And B Dubs was asking, are you free to play or do you pay it all for the game?
I mean, the only time I spent money was an extra card slot because I had my Pistolier, but to me it was too squishy, and there was a new path for the breaker, so I used it on my Soulfist.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So you're not really spending money really on the game.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Because I was gonna say, like, if also if you wanted to try it out, there are like the 3+1 packs in the cash shop, which are, you know, a lot of people use. But if you're not spending any money, then yeah, it's completely fine. And if you ever do get desperate, you can do the blue crystal conversion to get those Mari shop card packs. And also, have you done all the story on every one of your characters?
Yes, but I think like two of them don't have Rowan or this one.
Mm-hmm.
So I could do that, but other than that, everything's done besides my low paying Pistolier.
Yeah, got it. And there's also like, your stronghold merchants have chances to sell card packs. In Payto and the whatever what is Fermata something. There's also a pirate coin shop there where you can gamble cards as well. So those are all places that you can kind of min max on cards as well to try to get your LOS.
Is it like do you know if it's any cards or is it like a rare card pack?
I don't know the specific rarity. I'm assuming it's the any card pack, the one that gives you everything from like, the legendary to like I think green or blue or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So it's not like, amazing, but it's something, right? If you're trying to push for it, you kind of want to min max everything. And I doubt anybody's doing Argos, but that's another thing you could do.
Yeah. I wish. I mean, I'm trying to do anything. Like I constantly look through this. Oh, there's one
Uh-huh.
now. But most of the time there's like no lobbies up, and then
Hmm.
Argos.
Yeah, there's like
I
nothing.
rarely see
Yeah.
any. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's really tough trying to get these card packs. I'm trying to think of like any other places that you can get card packs as well. Yeah, nothing on the top of my head, unfortunately. But luckily, one of the cards that you are missing, Balthor, is a card that does get sold by Wandering Merchant too.
Oh,
So,
I don't think I'm missing
oh, you're
Balthor.
oh,
It's
sorry, you're
Shandi.
Shandi. It's Shandi Nineveh Diring. That's right. Yeah. So, unfortunately, you just kind of sit through the grind and hope that you'll be able to get your cards eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, as
And
Best Vespertilian said, there is a selector for the Rowan faction levels, but I don't know if you've been grinding that out at all because that's pretty high on the kind of factions level.
wait, which one? Oh,
Ooh, somebody cleared Thamine, the first.
yeah.
The Rowan in Rowan, there's a merchant there that you can buy cards from. I mean, buy things from that it sells you stuff based on like your level in Rowan. Like you know how you do PvP and stuff like that in Rowan, you can increase your faction level.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, at there you can buy a selector there if you're high enough rank.
Like a legendary selector?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh. Oh, I had a question about the Transcendence because I was watching your video.
yeah.
Um, when when they say level your Transcendence to level 2, what was I supposed to like click on the arrow then do level
Yeah,
2?
yeah.
Oh,
I made that mistake as well. You're not the only one, man. Don't worry. It's yeah, I didn't even know what that really meant. I thought like the levels was like the little flowers. Like I'm like, "Oh, I got 3. I got level 3." But no, it's
yeah.
not that unfortunately. It's the little arrows. But it's fine. You know, you'll the next time you do Thamine, you'll be able to do it or when you clear gate 3, you'll get more stuff so you can get that level 2 in your first piece when you do that.
I'm also confused because I completed the hat and the pants, but it said this, so I did it again, and
Yeah.
it still says
So
restoration.
basically, how Transcendence works is that um, you see how your glove has the 3 flowers on it, right? And it doesn't
Yeah.
give the runes restoration. It will basically give you the runes restoration until you hit the 3 flowers. So it gives you can keep doing it, redoing it until you get the 3.
Oh, okay, okay. So I just have to keep restoring it, and hopefully I get 3.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Because that way, you know, if you highlight over your pants or whatever, right? It says like, you know, at 5, it's incoming damage -3. So it's
Yeah.
basically the number of flowers that you have on that piece of gear that'll eventually give you that. So you need 5 flowers total, which is why you go, you know, for example, your chest, you have 3 on that one, right? Then
Oh,
if you click the arrow, then you need to get 2 to get the 5 set. Of course, ideally you're going to get 3, but yeah, you only technically need 2 for that first tier.
oh man, because I didn't find this out until like I finished all my pieces. The little
Yeah,
arrow.
I wouldn't have known either for a while probably. But Moon yelled at me in the Discord and because I posted a picture and he's like, "What are you doing?" And then I'm like, "Oh shoot, I messed up, didn't I?" But yeah, it's fine. You'll. I mean, eventually you're gonna want level 2 on everything anyways, unless you're challenging Thamine, which you're gonna go for level 3s. But like eventually, as you're going through the weeks, it's gonna be, you know, you're gonna get level 2 on everything anyways.
For Damon, for your what would be your requirements? Like full 9s and then your main DPS 10s? Because when I be looking at some Daemon lobbies, they're like 10s everything.
I
Elo
mean,
is 30.
honestly, here's my general kind of like the minimum for like not getting gate kept by most people. So by 1540 to 1560, you're gonna want like 7s on everything, maybe having like an 8 hero there. 1580, you're gonna want to have like 8s and 7s, like kind of like event gems, basically, right? 1600, you're still fine with kind of the event gem setup. And then 1610, you're gonna want to start getting some 9s in there as well. And then 1620, you're gonna start mixing in the 10s. And then probably for like Thamine Hard, most people are going to expect all level 10s. But there are a ton of people that are going to be nicer and not be as gatekeepy. And like I've even seen people go into Thamine with all level 7s. So it's not really like a requirement per se, but it's more of like a, you do this to not get gate kept. Because honestly, Thaemon, you could get in there and clear it with probably all level sevens, maybe even less. But all level sevens, I've seen a lot of people getting accepted and they still clear.
Okay, because I was thinking like maybe like my main damage nines eventually get these nines, but I have to save some level nine gems because my other character is getting gate kept from Voldis, so it's kind of
Yeah.
hard
I mean,
to.
honestly, looking at your setup, for a good number of people, they'll probably be okay with your setup for the MI normal. Like, of course, there's everybody has their own standards for gatekeeping. So there are definitely going to be people who are gatekeep you, but there are people going to gatekeep you even if all tens. But I'd say like for most parties, in my opinion, you're probably going to be fine with this setup. It's like kind of meeting the basic bare minimum, in my opinion.
Okay, okay. So I was
Yeah.
wondering if there's anything I should do, like maybe is my stats too low or my quality too low? Because I think I seen Memorizer or no, Wine Blue. He was expecting 80 all armor and 85 weapon. So I don't know if I should level them up.
I mean, honestly, in my opinion, all your stuff is fine in terms of quality. Quality is so tough. It's not like oh, you need a certain quality for X content, Y content, because in my opinion, like your goal is not to have salad gear. Your goal is to get out of the greens and then try to get to like 60s, 70s if possible, 80s, 90s, that type of range. And everything of yours looks like it's in the 70s plus. And at this point, it's pretty hard to get an upgrade. So unless you're like sitting on an extra fat static of cash or something like that, I personally don't think that you really need to. Like your weapon, like if you want to be like snob mid max, whatever, just if you want to tap it, like when you have extra money, go for it. But like I personally think that 79 is perfectly fine and acceptable to have. It's quality is really tough. It is really tough. And these days we get a lot of the free quality tapping stuff too, right? So maybe when we get another round of free quality tap stuff, you might, if you want to throw some into that weapon, you can do it. But I think it's totally fine. Yeah, like it's like Maddie says, quality is a scam. It's not worth the investment to get higher than what you have right now.
Okay. And I'm not too sure how the second stat is it supposed to be, or like what's the threshold it's supposed to meet? Is it supposed to be like 700, 600?
I
And my
mean,
main stat too, is that fine?
I personally I don't play Sork, so I don't know what people on average really like ask for. Apologize. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. But what I will say is that looking at your necklace, I do think that your stat priority is incorrect there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I always say this, you should maximize on your main stat, especially for spec classes. Get as high as possible on your necklace to be spec, even if it means losing some on your secondary stat. And I also Sork recently got buffed for crit chance too with their when they're an igniter, so that also helps a lot. So I would say like if anything, yes, I do think your stat is a little bit low, and largely in part due to the fact that your bracelet or your necklace is missing around 30 to 40 spec.
Okay, so I should be hitting the 800
Yeah,
threshold.
for pretty much any character, especially spec. If you're spec, I would say 1800. Like if you're spec main, like full spec, 1800 plus for end game is like kind of where I want, like would expect the minimum to be for most people, for most characters, because spec classes, unfortunately, just scale so hard with spec that if you don't have like 1800 plus, it can be a little bit tough. And yeah, it's like Moon says, like at the end of the day, the crit stuff is a gamble. Like crit is a gamble at the end of the day. No matter how much crit you have, like regardless if you have that extra 50 crit or not from your necklace. Let's say your stats were swapped right now between spec and crit. Like
Yeah.
if you miss your crits, it's just gonna miss. Like it's just kind of sad. It is that is kind of that case. Luckily, that's why Syrup Breaker is so busted, because you don't have to gamble the crit RNG and you're a burst class. But yeah, you should definitely swap the stat priority on your necklace if you can.
Okay.
And Juklaw says like every community guide has like some spec breakpoint stuff, so you can go take a look on there if like you're trying to figure out like what your spec requirements are for your class.
Okay. Do you think I should ever level up the rock? I was planning on leveling it up when I get a 9-7 stone, so I
I
haven't been.
I would say that you should definitely level it up. One, because Theomine hits pretty hard, but two, like the like I don't want to like be a negative Nancy or anything, but this is just the reality of things. 9-7 is extremely hard. I think many people can play their entire Lost Ark. Like some people who have probably been playing since the beginning of the Lost Ark in Korea probably don't have a 9-7. So just go upgrade it because you're gonna get the materials back before you get a 9-7, most likely.
Oh, for the upgrade, what level do you recommend? Because I was looking at it recently, and there's like 4 levels to level it up, and I'm not even too sure. I haven't touched the level up upgrade stone at all. Oh, it's locked, but
Yeah. I mean, for me, like it really depends on just like how much. I guess if you think you're feeling squishy, then upgrade it. But Maple does say go to 4. That's probably the ideal place to be. So yeah, Maple and Kaiser say go to 4. So you can push it up to 4. It's fine. Again, you'll eventually get the materials anyways. Like 9-7 is not something that you should, unless you're a whale or feel like you're extremely lucky. 9-7 is not something you should really aim for. At the end of the day, it really is just a luxury, and it might be nice and shiny, but the investment that you put into it is probably not worth the amount of damage and return that you get out of it. Like you're much better like focusing on other things like elixirs and transcendence and things like that.
is the materials to level up the rock roster bound? Do you know by any chance?
I'm not sure. Go check. You can go open up your press item, and then go check it.
I'm not too
Oh,
sure.
everybody says character bound. Is character bound then?
Oh, okay. So the only thing you recommend for this class is upgrading the necklace or hitting the 1800 threshold. And the crit you said doesn't really matter. I mean,
I
of
mean,
course, go
it
for
does
crit.
matter, but like, yeah, I'd say like your number one priority I see on your character at the moment really is to, swap the spec, get a higher spec necklace. I personally always aim for like 490 plus spec, like your main stat.
Uh-huh.
So that's what I would try to aim for, even if it means like a lower crit stat. That's something you should aim for. And what's your bracelet? Okay, so that's another area. Again, it's not something that I'd say you should try to buy and look for, but at the same time, I think that it's something that you can definitely upgrade at some point. It's a stat stick right now, and that's totally fine. But as you find more bracelets, try to get that upgrade because you are missing a good bit of damage from that. But again, you don't need to like go out and buy a bunch of bracelets and try to gamble it because that's really expensive.
Oh, and for the gems, because I know some people are saying I have a lot of gold. I was wondering, would it be better to get two level 9s or save for level 10?
I would say, and this is just based off of my understanding of Sork, I think level 10 Doomsday could be a good thing.
Because with all my 6 characters, I usually get like maybe one level 9 gem every week or every 1 or 2 weeks.
Uh huh.
So eventually, like I'll get level 9s, and I was planning on saving level 10s or saving enough gold for level 10. But for example, I have a artillerist versus a sword. If I had a level 10 barrage skill, it makes more
Yeah.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
for Sork, it's like punishing strike, explosion, and doomsday. You know what I mean? It's kind of like split among. So I don't know if same for level 10 doomsday is the same as level 10 barrage on an artillerist.
Yeah, I mean, I think that in terms of like level 10 gems, like I think the classes that get the most value out of their level 10 gem, of course, are like Blade, Artillerist, Sura Breaker, well, both breakers actually, Demonic, of course, those classes like that get probably the most value out of their level 10 gems just because that's where they get the majority of their damage from. But it sounds like from the chat, like spreading level 9s is going to be a bit like is going to be fine on your Sork, and eventually upgrade the 3 level 9s to level 10s. But like you said, you're trying to put some gems on other classes, right? So I
Yeah,
think that right now your damage gems, you know, the level nines are just fine. And then just go and split the damage. Like try to, if you want, if that's what your goal is, to try to get more characters that have better gems, you can hold on this for now and then just try to focus on some of the other characters.
because right now the situation for me is one, I don't want to get kept from Daemon, so I was thinking maybe push to 1620 with, and then eventually get 11 LOS 30. But I don't know if the gem is good enough versus staying on item level but getting the gems for the character. Does that make sense?
Sorry,
Or
say it again. Can you
okay,
explain it again?
so with my gold, I don't know whether to push to 1620 and keep the gems. I mean, I might get one level 9 gem in the meantime,
Mm-hmm.
or stay on item level and spend my gold on a level 10 gem.
That's a little. I mean, at the end of the day, I always, whenever people ask me about like what they should do with their money, it's always about like what your own goals are. Like you said, your goal is to try to get to Echidna by by the time it comes out, right?
Yeah.
So I would say that in that case, I would push for one character at least. Your one character to 1620 that you plan to do Echidna on, because right now your character is perfectly fine for the content that you're doing right now, in my opinion. Some people might disagree, but in my opinion, I think where your character is at is good for the content that you're doing. And if your goal is to go do Echidna day one, try to achieve that goal first, and then afterwards, with any extra money that you have, then you can decide what you want to do next. But that's just, again, it depends person by person. Like, if depends what your goal is. In your situation, your goal is 1620. So that's my opinion. Like, you should work on your goal, because your character, I think, is perfectly fine for the content right now.
The reason my goal is 1620 is because I feel like day one, some people might do it on item level because for the advanced honing, but others, some people might not. But my plan is to get 1620 doing on item level to get the advanced honing and hoping I
Mm-hmm.
get accepted.
I mean, I think that you'll probably find parties. Like, the one thing that is important though, and another reason why I would actually recommend pushing to 1620 earlier rather than later, is because there probably are going to be a good number of people that are going to be expecting 35 set, 40 set elixirs for Echidna progs. And because you're not doing hard boldest right now, it's probably going to be a lot harder for you to get those 35 and 40 elixirs. And also, they're very expensive as well. So, getting to 1620, trying to get some of those elixirs to 40 set will, one, increase your damage by a ton, but also, two, I think a lot of people are going to be expecting that when you get there. So the earlier you get there, the better. That way you can start working on those legendary elixirs, and you also have a good number of like free ones too that you got from the event, so you can
Oh yeah.
start working on those. It's luckily we got those. It's not like, well, you don't get
You
them,
can
you
stop at
have
5 or
to
6
spend a ton of
stores.
money on it, right?
Just
So yeah, that's
one.
my recommendation.
For 1620, the other thing that I'm worried about is getting gatekept for Voltus hard. Would that like? Do you think that would be a problem with my gems or my scenario, like LOS 18 or these gem setups? Or do you
I
think?
I think that you'll definitely be able to find parties that'll let you in. There will be a number of parties that are going to gatekeep you. It's like I said, people have different standards, but you will be able to find parties with your setup. And also, when you get to Voldus, when 1620, you're going to be able to start cutting those legendary elixirs. And since you are only 4 off from 35 set, I would, I don't know. I would like to say that you're probably going to get at least 35 set from those free elixirs that you have. And
And
yeah,
by any
like
chance,
Chad is saying, friends, right? Friends will always help you, and so try to make friends.
yeah, it's kind of hard because most of the time I've been pugging. Luckily, I was able to find like a few, 2 or 3 friends. So, one of them main support, so it's kind of easy. So I'm gonna have that friend help me for Ivory normal mode. So that character could be stuck with level 7 gems and not get gate kept. And then the rest, like for my Sophis, she's the event she used the event path, and I had to put some level 9 gems just so she didn't get gate kept. But if I didn't, I would probably have full level 9s on the sword.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, it's just really tough when it comes to gatekeeping because you are right. The better gems that you have, the better item level you have, and all that is going to help you get gate kept less. But that's kind of like, again, the struggle and also going to be a player by party thing. It just matters like the only difference is like how long you have to spend in the party finder because you will eventually find people. But also, hosting your own parties, right? That's some people. I mean, people say it doesn't work, but it like it it does work at the end of the day. You just have to be patient sometimes and like build a good party. But again, even if you find like if it's let's say like one friend who's willing to run with you, right? If they I think it always increases your chances of like getting into a good party and like getting in or like even making your own party by doing that because a lot of people will see like two people in a party and be more inclined to apply to it than just one.
Okay, so I have another question. So my artist next week is gonna hit 1600. I kind of want the artist to be able to do day mine so I could get the 10 times clear,
Mm-hmm.
but that would also require gold. So I don't know whether to push it to 1610 and hope for the title, but it also puts my sword back and it may or may not get more gate kept in the meantime.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think that just kind of depends on your goals. From what I hear, right? To me, I don't know. I don't. So you said you want the X10 title, right? And for the X10 title, are you trying to? I guess how far are you from that X10 title?
Well, I cleared 1 through 3 only twice, normal
Hmm.
on my bard.
I mean, I think the X10 title, you'll get it eventually, and like, how do I say this? It's just I don't think it's worth pushing your artist to try to get a X10 title. I think again, eventually you're gonna go up into like Echidna is coming out in a month, right? In a month and a half, and that is gonna have no titles for day one. So you're gonna be able to get into Echidna parties without a title. So I think that the X10 title just I wouldn't bother too much with it.
Oh, well, I don't want to just push my artist just for the title. Sorry, I might have put it out like that. So my main goal is to get my Sork, Bard, and artist to 1620. But for example, the artist, if I were to push it to 1610, it requires gold and it takes some time to profit off that gold.
I
Like
personally
funneling.
don't think that you're going to profit off of gold by pushing to 1610. I think that the amount that it's going to take you to get to 1610 is at this point not going to give you a return. In my opinion, the places that you should be parking your characters are if you're super El Cheapo, 1550, 1560. I don't like 1540 because you can't do 1 to 3 hard mode. 1580 and 1600. I don't think 1610 is a good spot at the moment to park alts if you're trying to get a return on money.
My main goal is to, out of the 6 characters, at least push 3. So, for example, the Artillerist, Soulfist, and the Soul Eater will sit back, make me gold. Of course, have fun
Mm-hmm.
with the content, of course.
Yep.
But these 3 will be my main because supports are easy to get into. I could
Mm-hmm.
probably get into any raid, level 7 gems, and put all my gold into the sword, my main DPS, to enjoy the content and be really
Yeah,
strong.
but at the same time, again, I think that if you're trying to push a 1610, unless you get really lucky, you're not going to see returns on those for very, very long.
Oh, okay.
Because it's not like because if you think about it, you push to 1610, you're only earning, what is it, like extra. Because you do at 1600, you do Voldus normal, you do Brel hard on certain weeks and Kai on certain weeks, and then you do Hardicon, right? I think you're only what at most getting like an extra 3k a week, which for getting to 1610 from where you're at is gonna get or Yeah, so if you push a 1610, it's going to give you maybe like an extra 3k per week, which if you're, and again, you're going to start doing transcendence, you're going to start doing, like, which is going to be a big gold sink. Like, I personally don't think that if you're trying to, like, like you're saying, funnel your main, I don't think pushing to 1610 is going to help funnel your main at the moment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it like the only time that your alt like at 1610 will start funneling your main is like if you had pushed it with like some sort of Mokoko Express or something that was like extremely cheap to push it up. But if you're just pushing up raw like the way it is right now, it's going to be very tough. And I think reading chat, like pretty much everybody has is agreeing with that kind of sentiment. And yeah, Vesper Tillinot says that Dubla has a great video with like a spreadsheet on kind of like what areas you should park your alts. I remember that video is kind of a little bit older, so it might be like not have like 1600 plus content on it. I don't remember when he uploaded it, but it might be worth checking that video out as well.
I remember before they were saying to park your alts on 1540,
Yep.
but with the recent clown nerf with the gold, would it be better to just park it at 1600 for my other alt roster?
If
Because
any,
clown gold. Oh,
no, go
yeah.
ahead. Yeah.
Oh, because with the clown gold being nerfed, wouldn't it just be easier to just do Bro, Kaya, and a con?
If
Rather,
anything, I think it's 1580 rather than 1600. I think, as Chad is saying, 1580 is kind of the current spot for most alts. Like
okay.
that's where you should kind of keep everything. Again, if your goal is to play everything at 1600, then do it. But by all means. But if you really are just trying to be efficient with gold and things like that, 1580 is probably the place you want to be for just maximum efficiency for gold.
Well, I
But
mean, sorry, but for 1580, I know you unlock a con, but it's more of the gatekeeping because I don't think people will accept on item level a con than like a 1585. You know what I mean?
if anything for a con, well, one, I think that it's perfectly fine having all sevens on a con character. Yes, you will get gate kept every here and there, but I don't think it's the worst thing to have sevens at a con on item level. You will be able to find parties, at least in my experience. But
Mhm.
again, when it comes to gatekeeping, I think the more like everybody has like a different bar for gatekeeping. I think that as long as you're like at a con 1580 all level sevens, you will find parties.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and yeah, if like how Con says, if you can janitor even better, right?
Okay, so for the Sork, all I need to do is just upgrade the necklace and the bracelet. Is it okay if I go to another
Yeah,
character?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And for your alt roster, do you have cards on that too? Like,
Right now it's
are
at deep dive, but I have some collectors saving for LOS 18. I might just use it
mm-hmm,
for LOS 18
mm-hmm.
and just park it there.
Okay, yeah, and that makes sense. Again, I think used the old way of thinking for me was definitely don't use your selectors until LOS 30, but especially because it's an alt roster for one. But two, I think a lot of people do end up getting gate kept for not having LOS 18. There is an argument for using it for LOS 18. I don't like it's but the thing is when you do it, you have to have in mind and keep in mind that later on it's gonna delay your LOS 30. But since it's an alt roster, I think you're probably fine with that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
plan on getting LOS 30 on them.
yeah, makes sense.
So for my bard, I copied Wine Blue setup. So
Yep.
he said, do this for 1 through 3.
Mm-hmm.
He said 80 gear quality. I tried to get it, but it's kind of hard. And
Yeah.
weapon 85, but I couldn't even reach that either.
Yeah. I mean, I told you what I feel about qualities. I don't think you need to really focus too hard on it.
And then
Your
the
character is
elixir,
fine with qualities.
I'm like short on the the
Luminary.
chaos.
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
35 set, yeah.
And also, do you know? So Wine Blue said you should have 85 quality on your weapon on Bard.
I I think when I saw his guide for I forgot what it was. I swear I saw a video and they're saying the expectations was 80 weapon or no 80 gear and 85 weapon.
You see, the thing is, the reason why I asked that is because quality actually pretty much does nothing for supports on weapon. Your
Oh,
quality does not increase anything related to party support at all. The only bonus that you get from your weapon quality is like solo content, like chaos dungeons and things like that. It affects how much damage you yourself do, but it doesn't affect how much damage your buffs give. So that's why I asked. Yeah.
oh, okay. It might have been some other video. I might have mistaken it for
Mm-hmm.
something else.
All good.
But for swiftness, should this be 1800?
I
Maybe
mean,
I did the
I
necklace
think
wrong too.
I think for supports, like as bad as it is, like it really doesn't matter too much for like getting into parties. Like, of course, I think as with every character, as high as possible, as close to 1800 as possible. But honestly, like supports, like as long as you're like 1730 plus or something like that, like that's like people will just accept you. It's fine. Like unless you're trying to min max your support. Like if you're a support main, maybe I'd say go min max it. But like you're a support, is your alt. Like I don't think it really matters all that much. Nobody cares about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because getting into Daemon lobbies wasn't that hard. It was like I request and insta accept.
Yeah, like you supports at the end of the day, it's funny because all I remember is like back in the day when Stoops was watching Evolved Mentality's video about how he has like so much better geared alts than his main as a support because, as a support, you just don't need anything. It's like, damn, supports are playing a different game. And it's true. Like, you really don't need much for a support for people to accept you. So, for your support, honestly, like, this is totally fine.
And then I was planning on leveling up the rock
Yeah.
because, like I said, I don't know if it's wine blue, but they said 7/7 on an awakening expert is kind of like good because you could work with um heavy armor one, or you could work with crisis one,
Uh huh.
so on.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I agree.
I was planning
And
on leveling this up.
yeah, do it. Again, it's if you're thinking about 9-7, like it's not something that you should be going for. So like just level it up. I think especially as a support, like your main job as a support in Thaymine is surviving. As as like basic as that sounds, like just do anything you can to make sure your support can survive through Thaymine and like not die, which includes like upgrading your rock. So go upgrade that. But
Okay.
again, you don't need to upgrade it like if you don't want to. It's like it's like a luxury, I guess, right? If you want to upgrade it, do it. If you don't want to upgrade it, it's not the worst thing in the world because again, you're a support and you're going to be very tanky regardless. It's going to be an extra cost for like luxury, basically. Like people in the chat are saying like just focus on your main. But again, if you
Yeah.
want to upgrade your rock, feel free to do so. It's not a bad thing.
I was gonna upgrade her rock, but I saw there's like different pieces for the levels, like level 1 through 4. And by any chance, do you know how to get the level 4 rock upgrade?
Like the materials for the level 4 rock upgrade.
Yeah, it's like there's
It's
like
like
this
yeah, those
material
ones, right?
versus yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know how to achieve these?
Yeah. So head up to Aranor real quick. Head up to Elgacia. So one, you can find them, right? They drop from the boss just raw. Of course, the higher tier ones are going to be rarer, but in Elgacia, and I think every shop, like every uh like continent or whatever, every area, every town after that, there's an NPC that you can use to exchange it. You know the NPC where you can buy like the wings from and your level 5 like your gems from?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that has a second page where you can use it to, exchange for these things.
Froze or lag.
No, it's LGC is like this. LGC is like this. It's so shittily optimized. It's terrible. Like every time you go into this map, you're frozen for like 5 seconds. It's stupid.
So it should be
It's like
this
that
one
one.
if I
Yeah, this
recall.
one. Yeah. So you go if you click exchange on the top.
Oh,
You see, you can exchange things for that. So, for example, you can, get your each of them. Basically, you exchange the lower tiers for the higher tiers. You don't want to do the ones below at the moment, like the ones for the lights trials, because you don't. Those are not necessary, but you don't need them for the upgrades. So you click these three: the Crystal Order, Brilliant Orb, and Book of Judgment for those exchanges.
what is the light trial for?
This if you look on the
Oh,
top, yeah, if you look on the top, it's those two. It's just for upgrade chests and the Wishful Amulet, that type of stuff.
okay.
And
Because
I
I've
think
been
you,
using.
Mhm.
Oh, I've been using it for the gems.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I do with them. Like you're gonna run and you're gonna have extras of those pretty much all the time.
So these I
So,
should just max this out.
not necessarily. Actually, I forget which material do you need to use to upgrade level 1 with.
Oh,
Uh,
do I have to go from level 1 to 2 to 3 to 4? I
I
can't just
believe
level.
so. Yeah, I think so. You can't just go straight into level 4.
Oh, then I don't know what
Oh, you can
material.
just skip. Oh, you can just skip. They said that you can just skip.
So I could just use these then.
If you want to go straight from 1 to 4,
Because I
I
need
think.
one more of
Yeah,
these.
you just need 4 books. Okay, you just need 4 books. Yeah, yeah. Basically, if you don't care about stopping in the middle, you can just get it. Yeah,
I just gotta
and
get one more book.
but you are going to be having to spend the upfront cost of getting to 4 at once. I mean, it's the same cost as upgrading like every tier basically, but it is going to be like all those tiers combined basically.
Okay. And then for this character, everything you think is fine here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that there's any issues with this character. Like, it's a support. You have honestly, even a 5-3-1 is like for some people that's a luxury already. Some people will go in there with 5-3s and they'll still get accepted. So, yeah, I think your character looks fine. Especially like for the like if you were a spec bard, I'd say like go higher cooldown gems, but you're a swift bard, so you're totally fine with what you have.
Yeah, I was hearing before Daemon came out that people were expecting Crisis Evasion 1, but when I look at other supports, some of them aren't even running Crisis Evasion, but yet they still
Yeah,
get accepted.
it's just at the end of the day, the support shortage is too real. Yo, Budex, thanks for the ball. Appreciate
And I also
it.
have but I still have to work on it.
Yeah, I mean, this is totally fine. Like, again, supports just play a different game. 5x3 is totally fine. I mean, some people will have 4x3, but I think those guys probably get kept quite a bit. But 5x3, I don't think anybody's really gatekeeping you that much.
For a 5x3 plus 1, I'm missing just one of the gears is this one. I couldn't find one. It's
For your VPH build.
yeah, VPH plus Crisis 5. So
Hmm.
that's why it doesn't have a 5 times 3 plus 1 yet.
I see. Yeah. And that's fine. Again, you don't have to upgrade if you don't want to. Like, it's a luxury. Supports, you can get away with a bare minimum. But yeah, it's like people are saying crisis is not necessary. It's especially in normal. Especially in normal. Like, I think people who are trying to go for hard, the first, like, it's going to be quite a bit harder there. But, like, it's especially for normal, it's really not necessary. It's just, like they said, just play better and you won't die, like for the most part.
We're
Of course,
gonna
every now and then you're gonna mess up, and then Crisis Evasion is gonna save your ass, but that's gonna be very limited if you're playing well.
Yeah, I was just planning on prepping my engravings for hard mode so I don't have to buy new gear when I get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then for my artillerists, I have all level 7 gems.
Mm-hmm. I think with Artillerists, it's gonna be the same kind of like philosophy I have for Blades. Try to get your Barrage Gem to be higher. If you get it a Barrage Gem 9 on this character, that would make it a lot better. But it just depends on what, like, if you're talking about like actual like caring about the character's damage and how it performs. Um, Level 9 on the Barrage Gem is probably going to be a good investment.
And in the spec, you said you want it 1800 too, right?
Yeah,
This main
basically
spec.
any spec class as high spec as possible is going to be the way you want to go. What's your necklace looking like? Oh, that's great. That's great. The distribution, the stat distribution is wonderful, and it's also like really high quality too. So it's gonna be good regardless. But yeah, where are you missing spec on right now? Can I so go through your so that's fairly low, right? You're missing around, I'd say on average 10-ish spec on that one. You're probably missing about 5-ish spec on your other earring. Um, like two like yeah, that one's technically it seems it's okay, it's fine, it's not bad. That's great. And you're yeah, so that one I think if you can find a stat stick for that, again, you don't need to buy it, it's really a luxury, but you know, if you can get a stat stick for that, that would be better, or even a, you know, better than a stat stick, right? But I ideally, if you're running with spec that low on your bracelet, I would expect the person to have at least one good line on there, like a fervor, circulate, whatever, right? Other than
Uh,
that, I would not recommend running this as a stat stick for most people.
well, because I've just been like just getting anything that has like for example, this one has high crit, this one
Mm-hmm.
high spec, but I can't really spend my silver at the moment because it requires a lot for leveling up a character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's what it is, what it is, right? At the end of the day, it's your priorities, but that's just like looking at your characters, places that you can improve on in the character.
And then it's all level sevens. So a
Mm-hmm.
con and bro, I don't have trouble getting gate kept. It's more for Voldus.
Yep.
And luckily I have a support friend that can help me
Yeah.
most of the time.
Nice. And that makes a lot of sense. And again, if you want to really care about the damage on that class, a level 9 on Barrage would go a long way, but it's up to you. It's, you know, your priorities again.
Okay.
He's about 3 cards
I
off
feel
from
like
LOS
most of my
30.
DPS have or is getting gate kept from Voldus. I don't know if it's because of the LOS 30 or because I don't have any nines. This one's an event gem or event class that I got from the Soul Eater.
Mm-hmm. Does this get
But
kept?
every now and then, most of the time, yeah. Level eights,
Mm-hmm.
sevens.
I think that, of course, it's all like combines. It all adds. Sorry, it all. Sorry, that wasn't perfect. It all adds up, right? If you have better cards, then you're going to be able to be a little bit more lenient on gems. If you have better gems, they'll be a little bit more lenient on cards. It's all kind of like a quote unquote formula that they kind of punch in, like, okay, this guy has like 230 roster level, but he has like 7 gems. He has like, you know, whatever LOS. Like it's all kind of like contributing to like what they want to gatekeep for. There's not necessarily like a silver bullet that you can be like, oh, I'm getting gatekept a lot because, you know, unless it's like clearly one of them's like way worse than another. It's not really going to be like that at the end of the day. Like, for example, your character is probably getting gatekept either A, because it doesn't have enough gems, or B, it doesn't have LOS 30. But if you had LOS 30, for example, I think that your gems on that character not like it
You
would be
got
a
it
lot
set
better.
to M for
Or
mini,
if you had
but
like
it
level
should be
9s
set
on
to
that character,
W
they
for
probably wouldn't care as
Wombo.
much that you don't have LOS 30 or LOS 30.
Oh, okay.
And something that Hakan was saying, and this probably might be the case as well. Like, what is your weapon at right now? Plus 15?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, it's fine. You know, wow, nice quality. That's very nice. But like, you know, maybe even like something as simple as turning off your weapon glow could be something too, because people sometimes care about that too. Again, everybody has their own way of gatekeeping, and if you can make one less, like more enticing or less unenticing, like, you know, that's gonna help out.
Okay. So just hope I get LOS 30 and hopefully people stop gatekeeping because of the gems.
Yeah, I hope you get LS 30, or if you want, get some better gems on it. But again, I think with your gearing, there will be people who are going to accept you, but it's just at the end of the day, it's hard, right? Because like technically your character is totally fine, but a lot of other people are going to have like LOS 30, for example, and they're probably going to get picked over you. So that's it's not that you're not hitting the requirements, it's just that other people are better geared than you are, and people are
Yeah.
picking those people over you.
Oh, okay.
And also the other thing is, like, if you hit roster level 200, it'll also help quite a bit with gatekeeping, because the color, or is it 200 201? I don't remember, but either one, your badge turns into bronze, and that's a lot more enticing to people than this like silver color.
Oh, okay. I'm like almost there basically.
Yeah, so once you get that, I think you'll see you're gonna get gate kept a lot less too.
And then the artist, I don't really have a problem with the artist, but for gameplay wise, I feel like I can't get 100% attack buff on, if that makes sense. So
Yeah, your
usually
uptime.
yeah, uptime, yeah.
And is this because you have numbers given to you by somebody, or is this because
No,
just
no,
a
no.
feeling?
Just a feeling, because usually if my F is on cooldown, this should be up,
Yep.
and if this is up, then if this is down, this should be up. But I feel like there's always like a second or two cooldown in between, and I don't know if it's because I need like level 9 gems on them,
No, no,
or
sevens are totally fine. Are you running Conviction Judgment?
um no.
Um, I know a lot of people do play quick, and you're only running one quick recharge actually. I think that you should. And what is your swiftness at? I mean, that's honestly fine. Like people are saying, like to have 100% uptime, you might need level 9 to 10s. But again, I don't think that you shouldn't be getting, let's say, like 60-70% uptime on this class. You should definitely be getting like 80s, 90s with what you have right now, I believe. But I think that if, especially because you do have lower Swift, it might be useful to use Conviction Judgment on this to kind of get a better uptime. So I normally, what I do is on Drawing Orchids, I put Conviction, and then on, I think, Sunwell, the one you place on the bottom, I'd put Judgment. That's kind of how I do it. On Drawing Orchids, I put Conviction and then Judgment on the one that you place on the ground. Is that Sunwell or Sunsketch? I forget which one it is.
My necklace is kind of low. I remember chat was saying to get 1800 swiftness, or there's like a threshold to have like 100% uptime. But my necklace
Yeah.
is low, so
I
maybe
mean, I personally think that's fine. 489 Swift is totally fine on your necklace. And again, it's an alt. I don't think you would really. It would really. How to say it? I don't think that you really need it as an alt, and I don't think that your uptime is really like. Again, it's you feel like it's a feeling, right?
yeah.
It maybe it's just a feeling, and it might not actually be the case, or it's maybe a playstyle thing. But I think that with your current gear, you should be getting around, if you're playing well, 80 to 90 ish, uptime. It might be more of a playstyle thing than like a gear thing.
Oh, okay. And then this one doesn't have really much problems, so we'll go to my last character, the Soul Fist.
Right. And yeah, conviction judgment should be helping out too. I think there's some people who are saying that maybe these days it's not as good. I'd recommend maybe checking out the Lost Ark Nexus guide just to get some more information on that and what they recommend. Because I think that as much as Lost Ark Nexus, I'd say like you shouldn't treat it as like the Bible. I think that it does have some good information on there, especially when thinking about like the basic level of like building a character and like understanding what kind of breakpoints and what things you should do at like a kind of fundamental level for your character.
So this character, instead of Breaker, I made a Soul Fist, so it's still the event thing. And so I had to put some level 9s, just so it
Yep.
doesn't get like gate kept for Ivory.
And you found that with level
Bonus.
9s, gets gate kept less.
Yeah, like I feel
Yeah.
like people would be accepting me more. Before it would
Yeah.
be hard to find parties.
And I do think part of that might be the silver border on your roster too. Because if I'm thinking about myself, right, and I see a character with a silver border with all event gems, I'm like, ooh, this guy might be a recent player or something like that. But once you hit that bronze, I think it should be a lot better, and you might be able to try popping back those event gems in there, because I know you're trying to focus on your main, right? You said
Yeah.
like you had to take stuff away from this for your main. I might when you hit that bronze portrait, try it and see if you could get into parties with all event gems, and because I think it will be quite a bit better.
Okay, so once I hit 200, just see how it is with event gems.
And the other thing is, as Chad is pointing out for Soulfist, like I think with your gems for Soulfist, rather than damage gems being higher, I think cooldown gems you might benefit more from that. Of course, both are going to be good, right? But I think for
Yeah.
like the feel of the class and making it feel good, higher cooldowns might benefit you more than higher damage gems. Yes, you might, numbers wise output more, but feel wise, I think like, and also actually, I do think that the higher cooldowns will help out with numbers as well because you'll get out more skills.
Yeah.
It'll be good to do that as well. I'd say again, check the Nexus guide for some of the thresholds and things like that because I never really got super deep with EO Sulfus, so I don't know the exact like requirements, but I know that some people are here probably play more Sulfus than I do, and they're recommending like higher cooldown gems.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but again, I don't think it's a requirement at all. I really don't think so. I think it's more of just like if you want that class to feel better, you do it. I think, like you said, if your goal is to focus on your main, just try getting that roster level to 200 something, and then try taking off those level 9 damage gems and see how you feel about gatekeeping then.
Oh, okay. And then I think that's it. I mean, I can show you my alt roster, but I don't really
And
think
I do think with Soulfist though, you do want to try to get it close to 1800 Swift for some of those rotations to feel good.
Oh,
Again, closer. It doesn't have to be exactly 1800 plus. I think actually there might be some Swift breakpoints I'm not thinking about, but I do know that people do generally say 1800 plus is what you want to have.
okay. I mean, right now I could just basically slam any.
Yeah, and
Like, this is
again,
bad,
the distribution on that is again not great. Of course, I think Soulfist does also lack crit quite a bit, so higher crit will definitely help you in the long run. But I do think that having more Swift in this case will help your character feel smoother.
Okay. So for most main stats, I should at least aim for 1800 or close to. That's what I'm getting like
And
for
also,
my
actually,
sword.
yeah, you're on engraving support right now. You should have some
Yeah.
higher qualities on your stuff. You don't have
Yeah.
to. You don't have to have like the the engravings on it. So just try to get as high quality as possible.
Yeah, because I just like I bought these, but I didn't buy a necklace. And this like
Yeah,
I just got from inventory. This I just got from drops. You know what I mean? So I
yeah,
haven't
yeah, yeah.
really. But recently I haven't been spending my fee on, so I could spend some.
I mean, if you wanted to, sure. I wouldn't. You'll probably find one. I'm sure you'll find one. I'm sure you'll find one. And you could even like put relics on there too, right? You don't have to have ancients. You just at the end of the day, I always say this, but so putting one or two relics in there is perfectly fine. And at the end of the day, the stat itself is going to be more important than the like whether it's relic or ancient.
Oh, okay. There's a quality or a stat difference, right, between 100%
There
relic versus 100%.
there is no stat different. The only stats that are different between relic and ancient are the basic effect stats like your strength and vitality. That's the
Oh.
only difference.
Oh, okay.
For the bonus effect like swiftness, crit, spec, all that stuff, relic and ancient are exactly the same.
Okay, so I just look
Yeah.
for like 100 quality
Yeah, just a
ancient
100
then.
quality relic something like yeah, that'll also work. And if you haven't been buying them, you can also try buying like the Legion Raid shop has those accessory boxes that you can open up, and those you'll probably find because those are going to be Legion Raid level accessories, which usually come at higher quality. So you can open
Oh.
those up, and they will probably you'll probably or hopefully get lucky and find one that you need.
Oh, yeah, because I haven't really been touching like the Legion Raid stuff because I feel like they only help with like 1540
Yeah, the main stat is very
uh
low. If you're missing,
gear.
if you're
Let me see. Like
between
the books
ancient and
that they
relic,
give.
like
So I
all
don't really
ancient
be
gear is like
knowing
three
what to do
percent or
with
something like
the
that, two to
Legion
three
Raid.
percent damage
Uh,
difference
pe-
compared to all relic in terms of like the stats. With your Legion Raid shop, yeah, I can go talk to you and kind of walk you through what I would normally recommend from this shop. So of course you don't need to worry about any of these things like Sidereal Energy and things like that. I think the most important things are like this shop you don't have to worry about either. I think we're way past this one. Phantom
okay.
Mark. Personally, I just buy the accessory chests again the whaling accessory chest, especially on like a new class. You don't have to buy it like all the time. I'd say you don't have to worry about it like week by week, but it is an extra source of accessories that you can get like better stuff on, right? I normally
Yeah.
don't care about the rocks, but that's just me, because I don't think rocks are going to be netting you a lot of money. Like if you get a really good accessory, right, it could net you a lot of money. But yeah, and then I also buy the relic accessory chest from this one too. Um, and personally, these days for the mending books, right, I just don't think that they're really of the level that we really need anymore. I think we have plenty of those level ones, so I don't think you need that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want rocks, just buy it. I have decay. You can exchange. Oh, you've been exchanging it for those already, right? Because I
I just
noticed
did
you
it
don't.
this week because I didn't even notice. So I
I
just did it
see.
this week.
Yeah. So if you're done with your like, your eyes for this character, you can always exchange them into the death whatever things, those things. Yeah, the death tokens, and then you could buy like engraving selections and card XP and all those things. Again, I don't think it's like a super important thing. If you miss out on every a week here and there, it's fine. But it is an extra thing. Um, but yeah, from the shop, maybe like think about like because you can buy card XP from this as well, right? I think card XP is going to be something that's important down the line. So if you want to
Oh
buy it
yeah.
with that, just do that. Or if you want the selectors, then you can save for that. That's all always things. Or if you just want like cosmetics, you could buy like the emote and things like that. This is a very much a not a priority shop. I'd say the ones that are the most useful are the Phantom Mark and the Mark of Plague shops with the accessories, because those actually could yield you some good money, right? Especially when
Yeah.
you're thinking about like a new class. And also, I would try to open those boxes on classes that you think one you're looking for an accessory for those classes. So you're looking for a card accessory for that, like not a card, a class accessory for that class, right? For example, when I was making my breaker, I really wanted to get a class accessory for that to help me build my character. So I open those up on my breaker every week because it can open up with the class accessory, right? And one of those sets of boxes gives you know how like in Brel and like Clown and Vaulton, it gives you a higher chance of getting class accessories, right?
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Oh
But
yeah. So for Brel, Vaulton, Clown, and Vicus, those bosses give you
I
an
can see the Statue of
increased
Liberty from
chance
here.
of getting class engravings on those accessories. So one of those boxes, I think it might be the Prel one, if I remember correctly, gives you a higher chance of class engravings.
it also gives us a high chance if we don't buy the box, right? For the chest.
Hmm? Yeah, for the bosses themselves, yeah,
Oh.
it's a higher chance. But I'm talking about the box that you just bought, the box that you just bought from that shop.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh okay.
Yeah, those ones. Yeah, one of them gives you a higher chance. I forget which one it is. If you can click on it, I can tell you which one. Right click on it. Not this one. So that was the Braille box, I think. It's this one, which you can the one where you can select which one it is. That one gives you a higher chance at getting class specific, like class engravings. So again, I would
Oh.
open this up on a class that are either A, looking to build and get good class accessory on, or B, a class with very expensive class accessories. That way, if you or like class accessory engravings or class engraving accessories, that way, if you open it up on that character, there's a high chance. For example, Breaker is really popular right now. Open it up on Breaker, and then you will have a chance to strike gold.
Oh, okay. So, do you think it's best to for the class accessory? Do you recommend anything like necklace, earring, or ring, or
I
does it
would
not matter?
recommend if you're going for money. Actually, it's a little. I would probably not recommend necklace because it's much harder to get a good accessory on necklace. I would say that if you're not a gambling man, go for rings because lower quality on those will still net you a better accessory. But if you are a gambling man, then you go for earrings because getting a high quality class accessory on earring is very nice for monies. And also, if you're building a character with it, it'll help out as well. But yeah.
Oh, okay. And then I see people talking about the card XP. After watching a video, I've been leveling up demons, so
Demon
I was able to
damage.
finish this. Yeah,
Nice.
but I still don't have a lowest 30, so it's kind of tough
Yeah.
even
What's your
with.
card XP at right now? Okay. It's not that bad to be honest, but again, you should can try to get like as much card XP as possible. For example, in that shop that we were at earlier for a con with the death, whatever it's the last one. You know, you could think about getting like the fragments there, and trying to get that. But you don't have to get it right now. I mean, these are weekly roster limits, right? So you can
Yeah.
technically get them right now and like cash out on them. But yeah, like Sam says, I think you should definitely save EXP for LOS right now because you are very close. So don't worry too much about the demon damage at the moment because you are so close. You could kind of pop it at any moment and then get those cards up immediately.
So it's better to prioritize LOS than Lost One, right? Like, do you think
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah,
will
I agree. I
get
agree.
kept for not having
I
30?
no. I like again, you're a support. Like supports you can do with very much the bare minimum.
Okay. Yeah, because it's kind of hard. Like, if it was like a 12-piece awakening, it'd be fine, but it's a 30, so that means I have to get all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you can buy Armins too, I think, these days, right? From Traveling Merchant.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. I think you can get it from Lutera, if I remember correctly. They added it to the pool.
Oh, okay.
Oh
Well,
no,
I
you
have to
can't.
mark
Oh,
this.
they said
Oh,
no. I think they just added like Delayed Armin or something. Yeah, they might have Delayed Armin. Um, but yeah, I don't think it's very important for you. Like you have a plan, it's perfectly fine. You won't get gatekept at them. Like again, some people will gatekeep you, but for the most part, they're just gonna be happy to see a support.
okay.
Oh, Carmine, yeah, Carmine.
I think that's everything. Is there anything you want to like summarize just in case if I forgot anything?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think one thing for the gatekeeping part, like try the lowest hanging fruit right now you have is get to level 200 in your roster level. I think that will help out quite a bit just having that bronze frame. The other thing is, of course, continue to do your card runs and things like that. If you really want to min max on cards, there are those places I mentioned like Rowan. There's a selector there. Go to the pirate ships, the Pato and whatever. Oh yeah, and also pirate ships I think have a card weekly. The ships up front also have weekly card exp too, so you can get those from there. Yeah, go to Pato Fermata if you really are looking to min max on cards. You can spend pirate coins to gamble for cards there. Stronghold merchants also sell cards every now and then, so check those out. But mostly again, it is the roster level. Try to get to 200 because it will help a lot with the gatekeeping. Again, with your priorities, I would recommend trying to push your Sork to 6020 ASAP if you're wondering what to do with your money, because again, that is your goal to get to Echidna. But also, the other thing is the elixir is going to be very important to not getting gate kept and also doing well in those runs. So that's another thing that I would want to prioritize getting to 6020 quickly so you can start getting legendary elixirs and also cut those free legendary elixirs that you have, right?
Mhm.
So yeah. What else? Yeah, I think that's about it in terms of summary.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, and
And
you know
then
what to
the
do with card.
1800s, like,
Yeah. Yeah, the make sure that you're trying to getting as close to 1800 for like your main stat as possible, and a lot of those hang fruit like low hanging fruit with your accessories, especially for like this character, which is it's engraving support. So just get those qualities up, and then with your sword, try to swap the crit and like make sure it's a heavily spec weighted accessory on your necklace.
oh, okay. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate this roster review.
No, no, no. Thank you for redeeming it, dude. I had a lot of fun. Like again, I always really enjoy these roster reviews and find a lot of value and happiness and joy and fulfillment out of helping people out. So no, thank you, really.
Thank you. It really it actually helps me like on what I want to do with my gold and stuff. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, and how did you feel about that? Are you feeling because I know you coming into this you're like, oh, I don't know if I want this to be uploaded or whatever, right? So, how are you feeling about it?
Uh if it's good, it gives me a sense of direction. So I don't think I mind it being on YouTube or anything. It just
Okay.
helps me. guide me to the right direction.
for sure. And I don't know if we'll see if I upload it. I think I actually really like this roster review, so I might end up uploading it. But yeah, just want to make sure that was okay with you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, and I hope you have a
Ah,
good one. I'll be
thank
on the
you.
stream lurking and stuff.
For sure. Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Bye bye.